So, well, thank you all for completing the poll that Julianne sent round a couple of weeks ago, asking you what of all the items your colleagues donated to the Larder Archeology project you would keep, and what would you would eat, and what you would just chuck away. And also telling me which of the items you would like me to cook with. And so this is the first of maybe a few videos, depends how terrible this is, in which I will try and cook for you. So the ingredients that you were most keen for me to cook with were the can of chickpeas and the chicken oxo cubes. So 73% of you wanted me to cook with both of these things, and so that's what I'm going to do. I have found a really nice Jack Monroe recipe. In fact, Shane found this recipe sometime last year, which is for chickpea and peach curry, and it's really simple and it's kind of surprising because I would never have thought of putting tinned peaches in a curry. Also, handily, one of you also put in the box a tin of peaches. So in addition to the chickpeas and the peaches, you will also need a tin of chopped tomatoes, an onion, a couple of nice fat cloves of garlic, a chilli or chilli flakes, a teaspoon of cumin seeds or ground cumin, and if you like it, some chopped coriander. Right, so the first thing Jack Monroe says to do in her recipe is drain the chickpeas, which is not a surprise. The next thing she says to do is to cook the chickpeas for 10 minutes, just boil them so that they soften a bit more, and like they're often not very well cooked, and I just thought I'd have a look and keep a few back. So you can see that's like, it's kind of cooked but not nice and squishy, it's quite firm still. So I'm going to just keep a few back so we can compare before and after. Keep those. So I've got a pan of water here, so I'm just going to cook those for 10 minutes in there. And I'm going to save the drained water from the chickpeas because I keep hearing all these clever things you can do with it, so I'm going to try and cook something else using this. While the chickpeas are boiling away and cooking a little bit more, softening up a bit, it's time to get the onions cooking. So get the onions in a bit of oil, and with the chilies and the garlic. Just get those cooking away on a sort of lowish heat, softening up and going nice and translucent, and not, you don't want them to catch, just to go nice and translucent. It already smells nice. So I'm going to kind of get them started, and then I'm going to turn the heat down a bit and just let them cook for as long as it takes, probably 7 or 8 minutes, I'm guessing. I won't make you watch all of that though. I'm going to pop the cumin into this as well. Okay, so this is cooked down nicely now. I think it's probably been 5-7 minutes, not that long. We also need to drain the peaches and sort of chop them up a bit more, although the juice does go in the pan as well, goes in the dish. Oh, haven't done a very good job of that, that's going everywhere. Right, let's chop these up a bit. Right, so I think these can go in here. Oh shush. With the juice. Right, and it's time to find out what's gone on with these chickpeas. I think they must have been in there for a good 10 minutes now. Right, I'm going to do a comparison then of these two chickpeas. This is the one that was straight out of the can, and this is the one that's had an extra 10 minutes of cooking, and I'm just going to give them a bit of a squish with a fork. Right, So it's a big colour change, but this one's the cooked one is just kind of goes to a paste, whereas this one's just a bit sort of firmer and grainy, like that bit just won't mush down at all. It's just a bit hard, so I think it does make a big difference, and certainly I'm going to taste them now. So this is a not recooked one. It's kind of got a lot of bite to it, and it's kind of a bit grainy, kind of bitty. Right, one of the cooked ones, recooked ones. That's much nicer. That's like kind of squidgy. And bearing in mind it's going to go and cook for another half an hour or so in the pan, I think it is worth the extra 10 minutes to get them. They're just much more enjoyable. So, right. So I think it's just a case of sticking everything else in the pan now and keeping it on a nice lowish heat, middle heat for half an hour or so. So I'm going to plonk those in. And the tin of tomatoes. And last but not least, very importantly, the stock cube. Now I've seen some very fancy things about how you're supposed to crumble these in the wrapper. Shall I try it? I'm going to try it. And yeah, I've also been told that it's nonsense. Thinking it's nonsense. Just gonna open it and crumble it over the pan like I would have if I hadn't read nonsense on the internet. Plus it's kind of tacky. I think they might be slightly out of date, these. Right, let's mix all that together. I'm sure that will all dissolve in fine. Let's let that cook for half an hour and see what it's like in that half an hour or so when it's properly cooked. Okay, so this has been cooking away nicely for half an hour, maybe a bit longer. And it's looking nice. I think it's ready. Finishing touch, some coriander. And have a nice little bowl full, a little bit more coriander on top. So, bon appetit. Hot. So it's got a bit of spice, it's got a bit of sweetness. It's got some nice texture. The peach has gone kind of a little bit more squishy. The chickpeas are quite nicely cooked. I like the coriander in it. It gives it a bit more fragrance and a bit more kind of depth of flavour, breadth of flavour. It's really pretty good. I think if I was doing it again, I would use chunkier tomatoes because these have kind of gone very saucy and soupy, and I think it would be nicer with some more lumpy, chunky bits in it. But apart from that, very good.